Did you hear the click? You heard the click. All me in. Hello, hello, hello. And I'm super quiet because I had my mic turned down from another event. Okay, let's see. Man, it's still not picking me up very well. Hopefully you guys can hear me and it's not making weird noises. It's been a little bit, but I hope you are all well. Well, I hope you can hear me okay and don't have to like turn the volume up to max extreme, super loud, because I'm barely making it above. Hold on. Above the green. Super quiet. Thought so. All right, let's see if we can do something about that. Extend. I made it dizzy. Okay, this goes over here. That can close. Make that open. Hey, Crisp, are you making me quieter than I should be? Crisp. So I'm kind of afraid to go to the main screen because I have no idea what it's going to end up looking like. We were working on it 2 Fridays ago, the last time that I streamed, and I was just reorganizing what the main screen looks like. Crisp microphone. There is nothing to do with changing the audio volume for my input. Yeah, it's all system audio then. Right click, sound settings. It's so hard to get back to the original sound options. More sound settings. There it is. Crisp. Crisp. Play back here so I can hear you. Hello. And, ooh, how's that? That sounds like it's coming through better. Yay. Oops. Except that I left the, I can hear myself. Ah. Sound overall is quite difficult. With graphics, you can just see it. Ooh, sounds crisp. Yes. All right, but Thindle is here and Dukasoft is here. Welcome to the two of you and anyone else that might have joined. Today is going to be a fantastic day where I still cut short the stream because, oh my goodness, we have a release on next week, Monday, and there's still so much to do. So, like, I'm pretty sure that the estimate that I gave them for the work that I'm doing was accurate. However, they took my estimate for the work that I was doing as the estimate for when to release the application. And it's like, aren't there team related stuff that needs to happen first? You know, like getting it out to cybersecurity, getting all of our localizations back and testing those, testing that all of the UI is behaving the way that it's supposed to, making sure that all of the functionality is behaving the way that it's supposed to, and everything else. Testing schmesting. You debug in production, obviously. Obviously. Anyway, here's my desktop. Here's what it looks like currently. That's kind of weird. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay. So, I don't know. Should I make this smaller? And this bigger? I don't know. I'm just going to move it up to the top. I'll figure something out. Don't get rid of me, please. I will not get rid of you. Absolutely not. Okay, so this is our code. Hello, code. I make that the font a little bit more zoomed in, and overall that should be better. So I'm planning on using this space around for cool stuff, like, you know, what cool people do on their streams. Probably gonna scoot myself over even further. Yeah, that's not bad. I think we'll be fine. Okay, so this is finally back to the financial management project. I am still thinking of finishing at 11:30 my time because I would really like the extra hour to do even more work on this project. I was on a call. I was on a call with the I'm going to call him the lead developer, who is making some changes to try to make the application fast. Well, it's not even make the application faster, it's make it appear faster, because really the application is pretty fast. The issue is that there are a lot of discovery type things that need to happen up front in this application, such as what kind of hardware do you have inside of your system. And so during that discovery process, there's this load time, and that happens, like, all of the dependencies for doing those discovery processes happen before the splash screen even shows up. And so what he's trying to do is set all of these dependencies to a background initializer where it'll start trying to load the dependencies, then show up the splash screen, and then do all of the loading. And by then the application screen will have shown. So I've already put loaders and spinners and stuff like that inside of all of my components, so that if I don't have the information about, let's say, what video card you have in your system yet, then it'll just show loading video card information or whatever. You know the iPhone story, right? I don't know the iPhone story. What is the iPhone story? You go big screen so I can actually see what this looks like. Higher resolution. That's not bad. Yeah, I just need to fill in some gaps with content. Maybe I'll get the stream avatars thing. Although, yeah, the thing I don't like about the stream avatars is it shows who is currently in chat. And again, I want to respect all of the people that just want to lurk quietly, not bring any attention to them. So I have to come up with something cool to put down there. I guess what I could do is make my own version of it where if you talk during chat, then you'll show up. Or talk during the stream. Whatever. Okay. So yeah, so we are finally back to the financial management application, and we were at a point where we're trying to get all of the um, lookup list items, and we finally got it to query the correct endpoints. CD finanman wasm server. And Thindle is saying the original iPhone was really slow, so testers complained. Apple added opening swooshes and animations that made it slower, but all the complaints about it being slow went away. Yep. So as long as it looks like it's doing something, that makes the user feel like, oh, the application is actually doing a thing, even if it's just loading. And so that's definitely the approach that I took with the decisions I made for the loaders and all of that fun stuff. Like, I'm not the biggest UX person, but I am learning a lot about it. Okay, dang it, I needed to have this open so that we could see that. Okay, so instead of it always going to accounts, it is now trying to query accounts, account types, categories, deposit reasons, and line item types, because that's what I need for my drop-down lists. And the reason we're getting an error 500 is because we have a not implemented exception. So let's implement those, and we'll good. Time equals set customer, time plus movement equals happy customer. Truth. Very truth. Okay. Get lookup item by ID. I don't want first. I like having get all lookup items. Get all followed by get by ID. So let's implement get all based off of the lookup item type. First of all, can we get the actual lookup item type? So if we do a switch on type of T lookup item view model, actually, yes, we have to do it this way. Dang it. Yes, yes, then do I can. I can do my best to. Oh, right. This is the hard one. Okay, we will take these, but what we're gonna do. Oh, that I cannot help you with. The place that you put your measurement foldable ruler thing is beyond me. What else is beyond me is why don't you just use an app? Use an app ruler. You know, point your phone at it, gives you a measure. Tikusoft says, sadly, I only have 2 feet. You can't find 3.5 people to help you. Or I guess only 2.5 people. I have no idea. Depends on how good the AI processing on your phone is and your camera. I guess it wouldn't be the AI processing on your phone because they would send the image up to the cloud to get processed and then back to your phone. My goodness, take this off. This makes me feel like I don't have to read out all of the chat finally. That's nice. This chat word looks a little low. Is it just me? It's locked. Okay. So the thing that we actually want to check against is the specific lookup list type. And in this case, let's do the first one, which is account table. Hmm. And so there's like a couple of schools of thought for how I can approach this. I mean, there's more than just a couple, but um, one way that we could do it is to create an method that uses the db set type so that I can use set of and then get back my model. As a lookup list. I could make a repository for every single one of my lookup list types that has a get lookup item. I could use AutoMapper to go from that specific type to my lookup item type. Yeah, so that's going to be really, really awkward. I need to just print out the actual type for each of these. And we now know about this cool keyword that says whether or not it has a constructor. I thought it was new with open close parents. Oh, it must be the last. I just accidentally put it in the right place. That's fun. All right. So that tells it that it has a constructor, my TLOOKUP item. In case we need to play around with that. So for the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to return a new list of T lookup item view model. Task from result for now. Oh, my bag. It's going to be a response model. Of this with my, oh, yeah, this is gonna work. With my error messages. Yeah, that'll do. And then I may as well print out what the T item type is that we found. Cool. Why are you angry? The constraints for parameter lookup item view model of method, any of them, must match constraints type parameter lookup item view model of interface, which I did, didn't I? Did I? I didn't save. Then it said, I tested one. Not only did it pause the stream, it also told me a wall that I know is 2000 millimeters was 2650. Well, there you go. Unreliable. Trash it all. Never use another one ever again. That's my recommendation. I mean, that's the best you can get. Okay, are we still getting the same exception? Okay, our this thing is a class I lookup item view model. I has lookup list item and new class I lookup item view model. I has lookup list type and new. And I didn't miss it in any of them. And I did save. Oh, duh. This is in the client. No, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. This is in the client. Do. Keep trying. Maybe I can turn that down. There we go. Okay, so in the client, I didn't update the service implementation, which would be shared client here for all of these to have new. Okay, now what do you say? Now it says, I am angry at something else. So in lookup controller 1730, aha. So in my lookup controller, yet again, these need to be new. You got to go all the way down the rabbit hole. Make sure you update all of your turtles. And then it'll work. Look at it go. Look at it go. Okay. So if we refresh, then as soon as we go to this and we start getting all of our lookup lists, we will no longer have any exceptions, any error 500s over here. We will get some component renderings. Actually, why are you saying not implemented? Because those, wait, what? Lookup item service on client. Lookup item service on line 34. It's a little confusing. Line 34. Oh. For which T item? Yeah, this is where I need more debugging. More debugging. So why don't you just run it in debug mode? Is 2.5 feet between a wall and a desk enough clearance to get easily past. That's a little tight. Like my waist. Well, yeah, it should be enough. If you're talking like accessibility wise, then definitely not. But yeah, 2.5 feet should be enough for the average person, depending on the size of the feet. Yeah, if you're walking sideways, then you're probably, um, if you are of medium build, you're probably about 2 foot wide, 1 foot, maybe 1.5 foot. I don't know. I'm not good with real world stuff, and I don't have any measuring tools near me. But if you're okay with turning sideways and scooting, then you should be fine. Yeah, I would say the average adult male in America, no, that'd be a terrible one, is somewhere around a 33-inch waist. So that puts you at about 15-inch, which is 1 foot and 3 inches across. Because you take away the roundedness and you flatten it out. Trying to get lookup items for T lookup item view model. Rebuild. It rebuilt. Where's the actual screen? Yep. Oh, it was showing. All right. Payee. Payee doesn't have one. Oh, that's supposed to say payee view model. Okay, so who called you? Look up list date line 65. Yeah, and I've also been using my states. I'm starting to think I've been using my states a little bit incorrectly. 65. Let's try that. Cool. Same. Same still. So this time I'm doing payee view model, and it's telling me that it's not implemented, but it should be. Cool. We can do it this way now instead of using activator.createInstance. Okay, let's do an actual breakpoint and find out why type of lookup item view model is not giving me payee view model. I hope to have at least the list getters done by the time we end the stream today. Statuses. Success. Ooh, 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 that's a good thing. Hold on. Now that I say that, I would like to merge my branch before someone else tries to do a merge, causing me to need to do a rebuild. Okay, merge complete. I do want to delete that branch. Yes. And that should have kicked off a pipeline. CI, and I want to monitor that. So our pipelines take about an hour to an hour and a half to run, which is crazy. A lot of it is it creates 4 installers, and it needs to sign all of the DLLs plus all of the installers. So sign the DLLs before creating each installer, and then sign each installer, which is insane. Give me 1 second, please. I need to answer this. Deflux! Yes, sound. Yes, sound. Absolutely sound. So I just had to take a call from my project manager, um, who I have my schedule up, and he should know that I am unavailable from 10:30 until 12:30 on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. But again, we do have a release happening next Monday, so yeah. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, what is type of T item view model? I told him that I am currently busy. Yes. Type of T lookup item view model doesn't exist? Yeah, it does. It's right there. It's sitting right there. Well, I'll tell you what. All right, maybe I can do a quick watch. Still says the name T lookup item view model does not exist in the current context. Your mama doesn't exist in the current context. But anyway, I have been extremely busy. So, funny story. On Wednesday, we had our daily stand up, and during the daily stand up, our project manager was like, so we want to make sure that we get a good push in today and then not do any work over the holiday break. So it was a 4-day weekend for the majority of us in America celebrating Thanksgiving. And so I'm like, hey, that's cool. He's being thoughtful like that. So then I was burning through it. I canceled our community, or not even the community stream. I canceled our Wednesday stream, and I was just working from 4:30 a.m. to that meeting to 3:30 p.m. was my plan. 4 p.m. actually. And then we had our meeting with the client at 3 p.m. on that Wednesday, which it's scheduled for every Wednesday at 3. Um, No work for more than a day? What is this? Soviet Russia? Um, Hello, proc testing. So at 3, we had our big meeting with the client, and I don't know why these are happening at the end of the day, because we presented the application that is in fairly ready state. Here are the items that we still need to complete. And the client was like, well, can we have these to cybersecurity before the end of the day? And I'm still burning through all of these issues that we're facing. And oh my gosh. So I'm working through it. And then I'm like, after this meeting, I'm going to go eat, and then I'll come back, and then I'll push all of these fixes that I've been working through so that they're at least in production. If you guys want to send it to cybersecurity after the builds, do that. But at the end of the meeting, there was this sense that, all right, I know you said I don't want you to be working on this during the holiday break, but we also want the release ready by essentially this morning for next Monday so that we can send to cybersecurity and get all of our localizations and do all the testing. Yeah, exactly. Before the end of the day at a 1500 meeting. No sense at all. Um, and it's not like their time zone. So they're in Central Time Zone. So they are 1 hour ahead of us. So it was 4 p.m. for them, 1600 for them. Um, it's not like they don't know these things. Like it's the end of the day. So yeah, gotta work fast in this job. Absolutely. Who cares about quality? Who cares about completeness? Just get something that we can ship. I hate that. Anyway, I still don't understand why it's not telling me what lookup item is. So long story short, Wednesday or Thursday morning, I woke up at my normal work time. I worked until when my wife and I normally do exercise. And then after exercise, I was done ish. I did kind of come back and check on the build a couple times, and I made some changes. And then I was trying not to think about it on Friday, but I was still thinking about it. But I still spent the majority of the day with my wife, which is what I wanted to do. And then the weekend was a normal weekend. And then this morning I got started again at 4:30, got a whole bunch more changes in, got more builds in. And all the while, the lead developer that I talked about earlier that I was in a meeting with this morning was working on speeding up the app, which is just making sure that it appears like it's doing something more than 15 seconds in. So right now what happens is you double click on the icon to launch the app. 15 seconds later is when you get the splash screen, and then 5 seconds later is when you get the application loaded, which of course is a million years in developer time. So what he's been trying to do is move things to background initialization tasks, and that's causing a lot of deadlocks with the way things are loading, especially when it comes to discovering hardware. So right now the main hiccup is discovering your hard drives and the amount of storage that they have and the types and all of that information. And so I'm working on debugging that to say, okay, I'm reviewing your code. The changes that you made are causing this behavior. It is not loading the hard drives. It's not loading all of our tools that we use to test all of the hardware. So it's really not a usable change. I can't approve this. And at the same time as doing that and working with him on resolving those issues, I need to finish my portion of the UI cleanup, bug fixes, whatever other manner of thing needs to happen. It's like, you know what? I am only going to work. Oh, yeah. Wednesday I ended up working after dinner. I forgot to say this part. So I went and I got dinner. and then I started working again around 5 or 5:30, and I went until 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then I picked it up a little bit in the morning after, and then yeah. So I am feeling uncomfortable working hours that I'm not getting compensated for. I'm normally okay with that, but not at this rate. And that's saying a lot because I don't really ever get to the point where, yeah, it just doesn't feel like I am being compensated for the amount of work I'm doing. Where did we hop into? We are now in lookup list state, initialize. Oh, yeah. We need this thing to hit this line. So we're skipping you. Yeah, I'm gonna disable use, disable use, disable use. Hit the breakpoint here. And we are currently at categories. Disable this breakpoint. And we still can't get, you know what we can get though, is this new object, which has our list type, which is going to be the right one. So I'm going to be able to switch off of list type from here. Yes. So you know what? I'm going to do that now because we're going to be going down a road that's just weird. And then you got a huge monetary compensation. Nope. Then Deflex was like, usually have like something where I'm like, maybe think about it this way also, or as well as, but in your case, 100%, yeah. I mean, I already know how you feel about time and money. And like, I don't share as strong a belief about that, but there is a point where the line needs to get drawn. Oh, even better. I can get rid of this entire switch statement. Right. And then of course, so like there's two things going on with my job. There is my loyalties to the client with this deliverable, with this project that we're trying to get out the door and make it look awesome and amazing. And then there is Sajetti, who is the company that actually hired me, that I work for directly. And they're constantly asking me to participate in things like doing interviews, working in smaller work groups. And I'm okay with this work group, or one of the work groups, which is the one that I prefer, that I chose, not prefer, that I chose to work with, this whole metaverse thing that I keep telling you guys about because I'm really, really excited about that. And yeah, they're they're inviting me to these things that I did not choose, and it's like, yeah, sure, I will participate in that for the experience. However, my client work comes first. I will tell you this over and over and over. And so right now I have another invite for an interview. That I am trying to decline tactfully without like this is around the time when they start thinking about, and again, I am not money driven, but it's going to sound like I am, so who cares. This is around the time that they start thinking about bonuses and who to give bonuses to and whether or not to give pay increases, blah, 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 blah. So it's probably the time that they ask more from people and then be like, well, they didn't participate in these things that I asked them, so they're not really involved. And it's like, with all of the things that I've already done, if you're going to base it on that, whatever. It's not worth my time. Okay. Anyway, Prog Testing said I had a fantastic weekend. I spent all weekend not understanding, but then I understood why I had created a bug in my WebAssembly. So I learned something deep in .NET and C Sharp. Awesome. Deflex says, man, here's what we need to do. As developers, we need to make like a Unity project with a universal voice changer that's ultra realistic on Teams. Call him Derek Smith, and then all apply for our jobs using Derek Smith, meaning at any time we can flip flop each other's jobs and all be Derek Smith. I'm not exactly sure why I would want to trade my job with anyone else though. Like, I super duper enjoy the work. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the work. There is some stuff about pushing deadlines that I don't like. And I knew to expect that with larger companies and this kind of industry. But uh, like having that implied, we're not going to say it out loud, but we're expecting you to do all of this extra work on your own time, or not even do the work on your own time. Get all of this stuff done. I don't care how or when you do it, but all of this stuff needs to be done. That's, yeah. Even if I am realistically telling them, hey, I am at this point and I currently cannot XYZ. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. I would like ListType, please. No, not you. I would like list. Oh, wait, I hope that's still right. We'll have to figure that out. Why aren't you refreshing? Because they all say account type. I thought we just looked at this earlier and it had the right list type. What the hell? Suddenly, I don't have the right list type. That's really annoying. That's really annoying. Okay. Um, oh, you know me, prog testing. That's not quite right. Like dependency inject, maybe. Yeah. But if you're talking about cascading parameter, you could. Oh my goodness. Why are you breaking now? What's the squigglies? Oh, I didn't go back far enough. It's not that I'm always disagreeing with you. I am caveating, I am supplementing what you are saying with more information because it feels like there's missing information. There might not be missing information, it's just I am perceiving that there is. You know? Yeah, why isn't this thing updating? So I don't know your full situation, is what the case is. I don't know if oh. I don't know if what? I don't know if you're meaning dependency injection and like you're trying to manipulate a dependency injected object in one component and then have that change reflect in a child component, or if you mean you're trying to instantiate a new object and pass it down as a cascading parameter to a child component. Yeah, like what I picture you meaning is that you have a component that has an inject like this, and you're putting new here. Or here even. So if you do it like this, okay, so if you do it like this, then you aren't using dependency injection the way that it's intended. It's intended for the DI container to be the one to instantiate your new object when you inject it. So yeah, that would make sense why this is causing issues when you're trying to share that with the child component. So if you're trying to use one state, or sorry, not one state, one dependency injected instance with a collection of components, and maybe for each section of components, I would recommend using a cascading value, a cascading parameter, instead of dependency injection. Or you could use a combination of dependency injection with a transient, so that every single time it requests whatever this is, you get a new instance of it that is separate from any other, because otherwise you're going to get either session scoped or singleton for the entire application. But if it's transient, you can inject it into the parent and then use a cascading parameter to pass it to the child. Yeah, so cascading parameter is pretty easy. If you have any sort of parent-child relationship, such as in shared components card, where you have a parent card and you want that parent card to pass itself down to its children, then all you would need to do is say, here is my parent, cascading value, and I'm just going to name it parent, but you don't have to name it anything at all. It should match by type. and then value, whoops, will be this. And that way, anything that gets put in this child content, as long as it asks for that cascading parameter, it'll get the parent card. So for example, in body, we could use a cascading parameter. And again, since I named it up there, I may as well name it here. And so what this means is if this card body is a child of this outer card, so for example, card body, then this card body will get this specific card as its parent, just by using the combination of cascading value and cascading parameter. And that's why I said if you're going to go ahead and use a dependency injection type of thing, so let's say that I actually had an iCard model or something, I don't know, card model. And that was supposed to be instantiated every time we create a new card. I would make this thing, hello defines, I would make this thing services add transient. And that way we get a new card model every single time we create a new card, and then we would pass down the card model into its children. And then of course the child would need to accept an iCard model parent. So that was your fundraiser thing was really fun. I had to have the sound off most of the time because I was in the midst of doing a lot of work. But watching you do all of the viewer request with the different planes, that was a lot of fun. That was really cool. But yeah, this is normally how I approach doing a card structure, by the way. I pass down the parent card as a cascading value, and then in the parent card, I have a public add body, card body, or it's usually register body, but add body works fine. Like if there's only one, then I would call it register. And then if there are multiple, like you can have multiple card text in a card body, then I would do add card text into card body. And then this thing would have that card model, but you can also just do it in line. Card body. For now it's null. And then card body equals body. And that's a void, by the way. And that way, when my card body itself is initialized, because it has the cascading parameter, equals parent, then on initialize, protected override on initialized, it will do parent dot set body, register body. This. And then when I'm actually printing out the stuff, instead of printing out child content, what I would print out is body, card body dot render. And of course I would have a render property in here. So render public render fragment render, which is just going to be all of this stuff up here. And then this says you must have a parent. So instead of making it null, we say you can't use a card body without a card parent, without it being a child of card. And then a card must have, so let's say that this is not nullable, but it needs to be nullable at first. Never mind. Oh, I always do that. So we're essentially saying if we got a card body, then render the card body here. We do the same with card header, card footer, and then inside of card body, we do the same with card text and card link. And that's a normal way to put together a structured component like that. Another way is to use templated parts, which if you know that you're always going to have the same structure for your body and head and all of that stuff, then you could just print it out here and have a separate render fragment that has each of those parts. But that only works if there's only going to be one of that type. So what do I mean? What do I mean by that? So let's say I have a private card body render fragment, not a private, a parameter, public render body content. My goodness. Render fragment, card body content, instead of child content. Then I would always have and this could be nullable, but let's say that it's not nullable to mean that it's always required. You can't make a card without a card body. Then I would have my own markup inside of here. That looks like this. And you would tell it what order you want to print stuff out in by placing your content in the right places. And when you're creating your card, then now it has a card body parameter instead of the card body actual object itself. This would just be the render fragment called card body. And then you fill in the content there. But now I want this card body to have card text inside of it. And you can't do that with just this is card body content. And you can't do that with just a render fragment because it would have no idea what to do with this child card text without an actual card body surrounding it. So lots of things to consider. Many, many, many funs. Okay. Yeah, I think I think that I got to a point where this thing should work since I updated this to say pay view model, but I'm not actually hitting that case. Whatever, I'll hit the breakpoint in a minute. Type of this. And you can't evaluate that either. Oh, because it's get type. Okay, that is a system runtime type. And let's do dot name dot. I can't remember what it is. Full name, let's say. Unable to resolve member access. So not helpful. Debugging experience on WASM, am I right? Full name. Account view model. Okay. Next item up for bid. Full name. Lookup item view model of lookup account type. Next. Should be lookup category. Next. Should be lookup deposit reasons. Next. Lookup line item type. And this is the one that we're looking for. This one should be payee view model. Oh, gosh. Gosh. Okay, so the reason why it was throwing new null not implemented exception is because this is not a lookup item view model of payee view model. This is just a payee view model. Crap. But that does need to be a lookup item view. Oh, it is. It is. It is. Cool. That was a very audible click when you finally got it. Tell me about it. Okay. So now we should be good to go. Hit your breakpoint. Oh, you're in here somewhere. Why do I have a breakpoint in here? Done at runtime failed. Disable. Disable. Oh my goodness, just stop the app. Something clicked. Like I said, I'm going to go until we can see list item values, and then I'm going to stop there for today. No errors, except we were expecting a less than symbol at some point in time. All right. We got accounts, invalid lookup list type, account view model, cool account types, and you should say lookup account type, great, grand, and fantastic. Okay, so we know that all of these that we're looking for in our service need to match these. So I'm going to turn this into an actual switch statement. And we'll keep our default. We'll keep our default as default. We'll turn all of these into cases. And instead of arrows, break, format. Okay, format. Whew. So my normal process for all of my services, I see the list items at 23 hours, 59 minutes. So first thing that I like to do is prepare my return model, which I can't type suddenly. It's going to be a new list. Then at the very end, we're going to return that view model. which is going to for now be a task from result until we do all of our asynchronous stuff. Then here, instead of creating a new one again, we're just going to add an error message that says invalid lookup list type, and then break, like breka orcs. What? Yes, restart. I really, 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 really wish that I could get this thing to do what I want it to do. Var type instance equals new TLOOKUP item view model with, yeah, and then there is no item that I could set. There is no, because I would need to be able to have T item. So what's happening right now is I was expecting when I initialize any one of these TLOOKUP item view models that have these constraints, which for example would be anything that implements iLookup item view, oh, because it's not iLookup item view model. Anything that implements this okay, here we go. Anything that implements this, which would give me back the list type based off of the item itself, which I can't do. I cannot do because item is null. But what I can do is return the list type based off of type instead. Then it says, I just connected 3 HDMI inputs and 2 DisplayPort outputs to my computer after coming back from DreamHack. Anyone want to bet on the cables being in the right place? I have trouble with my own computer, so I would lose. I would lose. What? Jeremiah? Jeremiah, that's mean and also very nice. Thank you so much. I hope you're having fun. It's been a while. I hope things are going well for you. You deserve everything to go amazingly. Not just because you did a whole bunch of gift subs, but just because you're you. That was super nice of you. Dag, you even got a bunch of repeat viewers in that. Holy cow. The real MVP. That was so nice of you. You're just trying to make me feel better, huh? I feel so stressed. Var t when t is type of outputs are actually in the correct places. Awesome. Didn't even have to try that hard. So what's been going on lately? You should play the lottery. RT when T is type of, oops, arrows, oops, lookup list type. I think that's gonna work. I wonder how slow everything is going to go from doing this, because I'm using reflection for every single time I'm looking for the type of an individual item and not the entire list. I don't know why I just did that. That's not what I meant to do. Did you rebuild? Epic fail. Breakpoint 4. Payee. So this will be our check. That will give us our type instance, and the lookup list type is accounts. And then the item itself gives the wrong one. Is it because this is in lookup item view model, not in the actual T? Oh, I don't know. Oh, hell, I don't know. Shoot. It could be because I actually need this to be type of T. But if I do type of T, then I'm doing type of type, which is system.runtime. Shoot. Mhm. Defiance just noticed that he got a sub from our good friend Jeremiah. Jeremiah. So comfortable. Did we actually hit this breakpoint or what? accounts, which makes sense because I wish we could see flipping type of T lookup item view model. Oh. Wait. I'm not looking at this T item, am I? Lookup item view model of T item. I am. Yeah. So T item is definitely the thing that I wanted to switch that type of, because this is lookup item view model of T item, which in this case is lookup deposit raisins, for example. It does sound pretty fun, Dukasoft. Dukasoft is saying, as a trainee, I'm in charge of the network, servers, databases, websites, and programming tasks. I feel lucky. I love it. Sounds like you have a lot of responsibility. Yeah, I don't know why it's not letting me get full name. Oh, now it is. Well, forget you. Okay, so this one should give me a list type of categories, and it does. So if we F11 out of this, then hold type should be categories. It is. What? 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 I'm so confused. Okay, we're gonna try this again, but this time instead of deleting, I'm gonna Control KC. Lion is on your computer. I hope you could still see. We're gonna go with hold type. Hold type. We're gonna see what kind of output we get from this. Go again. This time remember to use F12. Oh man, I don't know if you were here when I was griping about just the amount of stuff that's left on this project and the demands that they're given. Where it's like, guys, this is kind of unreasonable. Can't we be adults? Hey, it's going to the right and well, except for this one. This one's not the right one. Why is payees going to accounts? Why is payees going to accounts? There's always tons of stuff left on projects. Here. This is the truth. But like, I don't know. I definitely will have it done by the time I said I would have it done. It's just that they're, again, basing the time that I said I would have my work done as the time the project will be done, which is not the case. I am not a one-man team currently. I work with other developers that have their responsibilities and are working on their processes. Okay, so this is actually just a count, which would mean that this is also just payee. So that would be what that issue is. The Thindle speaketh truth. At least there is no end when you're working on your own project or anything without a spec or anything internal, such as no paying customers. Yeah, there's a... Yeah. Crap. Why isn't my watch showing? Hello? Oh, there it goes. Look at the count type. Look up category. Deposit raisins. Line item type. And payee. Payee view model. Payee, which should give us back a list type of payees. Oh, thank goodness. I think we've got all of our endpoints going to the right place now. That's going to be a lot of places to update if I ever need to add a lookup table. All right, so now the only thing that's left is to populate the data. That's right. I consistently say data, in case you were wondering. So we should now be able to use ListType for everything. I'll keep this console write line just for our sanity checks, which is a phrase that I've been using more often now that we have actual sanity checks for our application. Okay. Translations are in. We might have our last batch of translations completed. Counts, count types, categories, deposit reasons, line item types, pays, and recurrence types. That's all of our lookup list types with queries to endpoints, accounts, count types, categories, deposit reasons, line item types, payees, and recurrence types. Now we just need the data. Let's get the data. Let's go get it. Here we go. Instead of switching on type, we will switch on this. I'm going to brute force this for now, but we will refactor it in the next streams, in the coming streams. Add missing cases. Okay, and the way that we're going to brute force it is we're going to query it weirdly. Weirdly enough, we're going to do a query. Yes. Correct. Except I like using this syntax instead. And, I guess that's close, not quite. Wait, we need the DB context to begin with. ctor. I'm using a DB context factory. Financial management context. DB context. The build succeeded for production build. Just a quick update. Saw an email that current master CI finished building successfully. All right, and we need our DB context stored. If at first you don't succeed, call it version 1.0. This is version 2.0. Version 1.0 is what I redesigned. I didn't redesign it. What I implemented the redesign for. Gosh, don't let me cheat. This is so close. So here's the cool thing. Now that I am using I can't do it that way. I was going to say, now that I'm using this, the actual type on this is the entity type. Is there a version of set that takes the type damn. I was hoping that it would take the actual type. But it don't. For the cancellation token. This is what I wanted to do though. So one thing that I've done in the past is I've created a lookup view in SQL Server, and I queried that instead and filtered by type. I could do that, but it probably won't work. Yeah, it's going to need the actual entity type. So I'm not going to do paging yet. We will do it in a pretty clever way. I think we should be able to do the projection followed by the filtering, followed by paging. So for example, let's do ret resp. Nope, we can't do that. Var queryable equals new list of t lookup item view model as queryable. Then we should be able to do queryable equals db. I don't like db. I like using context. And this thing is actually supposed to say db context factory. 1.9 then. Close. Okay. Context dot account. I did call it content. Dang it. That accounts. And then this is where you could use something like Cookie Monster, you know? I can't think right now. This is where you could use something like AutoMapper to convert this entity, project it into your view model. You could also make an extension method. You don't know what new is. New is going to be a list of t lookup or of a count view model. And it's not new. Oh my gosh, I've completely forgotten how to anything. So how is this not an iQueryable, of type T lookup item view model? Okay, so this is how we're going to set all of them up based off of the specific table that we should query. And again, this is going to get cleaner because we will make better methods for turning each of these into the view models, each of these entities into the view models. Oh my goodness. Copilot is being a little bit mean to me. And I know that I already have extension methods, but I don't think I'll be able to use them in link to entities. Oh, hey. We are now using async. All right, so you are going to be a lookup item view model of lookup recurrence type. Using your enum as tkey. And then the rest of you are going to be, you're going to be payee view model. You and you and you and you. LU. Oh. I should have done it like this. Except I have new in there as well. And then we put LU on front of U. Oh, we don't put LU in front. Maybe we do. Yeah, we do. Let's get in there. Get in there. Get in there. All right, it looks like I might be missing or I might have an extra curly brace somewhere. Missing a parent. Cool. We're getting there. So close. Didn't I fix this one already? Okay. All right. So the easiest thing for me to do here is to go ahead and set item equal to X for all of them. And the reason for that is because all of my lookup list view model stuff carries with it the original item from the database. So then the other things that I want to populate that all of them should share are what? The ID, Why are you trying to create an account? Oh. Lookup item view model. ¿Dónde estás? Lookup item base, which has ID, definitely. ¿Qué más? Name. Sort order. Last updated. Deleted. Deleted. It's not just deleted, it's deleted. Okay, so the view model. My database records don't have the deleted column yet for all of my soft deletes. My account names are not, they don't have a sort order, nor last updated. Fine by me. And I think all of these are, for these lookup tables, are display text and value text. All right, so that's what I'm going to put on those. Yeah, and for all these, because I haven't implemented that yet, we'll just delete them. We'll change all of these to display text, value text. Okay, and then payees also doesn't have a sort order or last updated. Although, what I could do for now, since these two don't have a sort order, is say for payees and account, your sort order will be your ID. Okay, I think we've implemented it. Let's give it a shot, and we're going to see if we get any accounts, account types, categories, deposit reasons, etc. Build. Let it rerun. Survey says. Did you reload? I can't tell if it reloaded. I don't know if that number is bigger than the other one. Do I even have any accounts and stuff in the database? Let's check to see if we have any data in the database at all first. Finan man. That's MS SQL local DB. We want Angie. Do we though? Financial management tracking. Accounts. View data. We got no account names in here. So let's do checking. Account type, which we probably don't have an account type in here. Oh, we do. One. My primary checking from my favorite bank. LTD. Okay, so I'll only do, actually I'll do two. Savings. Okay, what else do we need? Do we have any payees? We don't have any payees. The payee that I would like to add is Vindies. No, I said Vindies. Let's go with guarded. And we have two payees now. What else? What else do we want in here? Dugasoff says, two threads walk into a bar. Barkeeper looks up and yells, hey, I want, don't any conditions race like the last time. Like time last. It's really, really hard to read asynchronously. You trapped me. We have recurrence types. How hard was that to type out, or did you just copy pasta? Line item types, such as in subtotal, taxes, etc. Categories we don't need to worry about. Deposit reasons. Busted. Deposit reason would be something like regular pay. Regular paycheck. Dang it, I forgot to check on the server. See, I knew if I didn't take care of it right away, I would have forgotten. Last updated should automatically apply. No? Dang it. I thought I gave you a default value. Today's the 28th. Okay, so since that was too much effort, that's what I'm going to go with. Refresh. Now do we have accounts? We don't have any accounts still. Why not? Are you connecting to the right place? He's going to show his secrets. If he can even find out which project he's looking at. Oh my gosh, he just showed his secrets. Finan Man. Is that the database that I updated just now? It is on Angie SQL. Maybe it's using an existing DB connection. I don't know. Should be giving me a new DB context every time. Why? Come on, we're on the last step. Just work. I think I might have accidentally hit Control F5. Nope, I hit F5. I need a breakpoint maybe in the service. That would be nice. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm breaking everything. Failed to bind. Address is already in use. I stopped it, didn't I? I didn't stop it. Look at list service. Close it, close it, close it, close it, close it, close. Santa Claus it all. You there. Can I have a breakpoint here, please? And put this in my watch. I can't put it in my watch. ListType. A coconuts. Why didn't anyone tell me? I'm going to return early here so that I don't have to do a check on whether or not the query had been populated. And then this will be where I do all of the filtering and sorting. So sort by sort order, page, apply page, if any, and then resp dot return dot data, because we renamed it, is going to be this to list. Then we return it, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get some data when we actually populate our return object with data. Still saying data. No, look, we're going for the entire 2 hours because I made a promise and I'm keeping to it. See, you see me go. Services. Yeah. They are both started. Huh. Okay, as long as the type changes. Programmer, noun, a machine that turns coffee into code. Very true. Oh, come on. Oh, I don't have it populating them. What we should do is look in our F12. Why does it say error 500? What the truck? Serialization and deserialization of system.type instances are not supported. Good. Good for you. JSON ignore. JSON ignore. Any other read-only fields that we need to JSON ignore? Jizz. Hello, Clayman. I was in your stream earlier watching you play around with Mr. Muscles with bulking up your butt. No, come on, it's so close. I'm on my last couple minutes of the stream where we are this close to being done. We got it almost all. You can do it. All we need is some data from the server, and we are good. But yeah, if you guys have not seen Clayman streams, he's done some really cool work on a game that is ready to be wishlisted. Speaking of, if you want, you can send me the link to the Steam page, because I don't think that I have it. And I will put it in our rolling messages. Did Thindle just start streaming? Dukesoft, I'm easily confused. Even more so now than ever. You are now, says Dukesoft. Hmm. That's a lot of hearts. Look at all those hearts. Run! Come on. You've loaded Visual Studio. All you have to do is show the page now. I know, fun. I know. I know. I saw a bunch of red just then. Why are you still giving me red? Error 500. So this one isn't giving me any extra information. Why are you still trying to serialize and deserialize system.type? I just said JSON ignore. Why do I keep looking at this? The thing that I'm trying to look at is lookup item view model. Oh, it didn't save the JSON ignores. Got it. JSON faster. Look, I like JSON. However, there are times when JSON is a bastard. But in this case, I was the one being a pain, doing it incorrectly. Okay, last try. This one's gotta work. Ooh, that's not an error 500. That's not an error 500. Instead, we got data back. Oh my goodness, which means we don't have anything in our drop-down lists. Yeah, we do. We got line item types. I should have one payee. That's weird. And accounts. Apparently, I didn't set these up to display the data, but we definitely have back my primary checking. And do I not have the extension for pretty print JSON? Apparently not. But anyway, success. We accomplished what we said we were going to do, which is we got our lookup items to pull from the server and display in a generic way, which we can go through how everything is put together in the next stream. But you can see here that I'm using a generic in order to get the list of lookup items based off of that specific type. Then I am displaying that information, not data, just information, in drop-down list. We proved that at least one of them works, which is the line item types for sales tax, subtotal, all of that stuff. We'll populate the rest of the list in the next stream. I'm hoping that's going to be Wednesday. I don't plan on canceling any more streams unless they're like Wednesday. Again, that's when our client meeting is. So if we are not done with the application, then I'm going to have to cancel the stream and just keep working all the way until it is time. So anyway, but that's it for now. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. I miss you guys. I'm glad I was able to stream, even though I still feel like I'm feeling a lot of pressure. We are going to raid someone who has not had many viewers for some reason, but he's pretty cool. We're going to head over to Xcoding. And I will be hanging out there with the stream muted, of course. So if you feel like it, hi live coding. If you feel like it, feel free to hang out as we raid Xcoding, a member of our community, as well as his own person, of course. Definitely feel free to check out our Discord. We have a lot of really amazing people there that are just super nice, super helpful. Even if they're not nice, it's still extremely helpful to be around this group of people. They have really good views and opinions and reasons for the thoughts. And if you haven't followed live coding, there's a shout out for him. Thank you, Dukasoft. It's a little hard. He streams on occasion, and it's really entertaining when he does. He talks himself down so much, but he's got some really good content. Feel free to check him out. I will post my video on YouTube at least 24 hours after I finish the stream today. And I should be back on Wednesday. Same bad time, same bad place. Okay, that's it for me for now. hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, I'll see you around and stuff. Ciao for now.